change a man. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Yeah.
Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery Comics, where we talk about games, comics, and other stuff on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
This is Dave.
This is Nick.
And Chelsea.
And Chelsea is with us for the first time on the podcast.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hello.
So it's been a little while. March was a little crazy for us because we had our store inventory, and then immediately after, we decided to reorganize the entire store.
Because we like to punish ourselves.
What were we thinking?
We didn't actually decide it. Like, we didn't like that day. We went, hey, let's do this.
Did we decide that that was our most exhausting day ever? Perhaps?
It might have been.
Even over like some of our more grueling inventories.
What was that? We started on a Sunday.
Yes, we did. We started Sunday.
Sunday night at about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes,
because I got there like right after.
Maybe a little bit before.
A little bit
And
before.
it was-
we grabbed dinner and then we started.
Yes,
yeah,
it was the four of us plus our one of our favorite customers, Jarek, who helped us out.
Yep.
Volunteered a lot.
Yep.
And we worked till about midnight.
And I believe Nick's fiance also helped.
And Nick's
us
fiance
out.
helped out for a couple hours. And then the next day, we came in on Monday, and Nick and I had planned this exhaustively. We'll talk about the planning a little bit, but we had planned this exhaustively, and we did this sort of overestimating how long it would take to do every step.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we'll probably be out here by 8 o'clock at night. No. We came in at 10 the next day on that Monday, and we left at about 2 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah. What I think is really funny about this is the fact that we thought we would do the painting that same day.
Oh, yeah, that was insane. Yeah, in case y'all have not noticed, the paint for a long time has been the Dragon's Lair Round Rock colors.
And by the way, this is not like the entire store painting, but rather the top foot or so of the
Yeah, it's a
entire,
little over a
running
foot.
the entire length of the store, the ceiling.
The trim along the top. If you look along the top,
Yes.
you will see it was a stripe of green. It is now a stripe of blue and orange.
Yep, which I don't know if people know, but that's like sort of our store colors.
Yep.
If you'll have seen it on the outside sign and on
Yes.
our business cards
And in our bags.
and on our bags.
Yep.
We do the blue the teal or the orange bags. All originally designed by Christian Donaldson, who did an awesome job with our
and
logo.
You've seen Christian's art in the Vertigo book 99 Days, in the Massive from Dark Horse,
DMZ.
and Supermarket, DMZ, a bunch of stuff with Brian Wood mostly.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's super boss awesome.
And yes, he's great. So that was, but this all started because we were looking at the space we had, and we were getting a little tight, and this was like 3 months ago.
It was.
Nick, was it your idea originally?
Yes.
It may have been because I think
I believe you kind of got the ball rolling.
Well, we talked about the craziness of, are we going to have to move?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to find a bigger location?
Right, and this all kind of came from, literally, we're just finding less and less space to put new arrivals,
Yeah.
you know?
And so Nick put up the notion of, well, what if we reorganized a bit? And we decided we were using a lot of space for our cash wrap. It was up against the wall. We had already had sort of trouble. You know, I'm sure you all noticed that basically when you came in, you saw a T-shirt rack, and you didn't see us.
Right, we might have shouted out, "Hi, welcome to Rogues Gallery," but you'd be like, "Where is that voice coming from?"
Yeah, I'd have people come in.
Typically phantom voice.
Yes.
I get that all the
disembodied
time.
voice.
Yeah, there was often that case where you would kind of vaguely connect with their eyes, looking over the T-shirt rack, and
Yep.
but until they spotted you, it's kind of crazy.
So we actually didn't like that.
We didn't like that, and so we wanted to arrange things. The big sacrifice was the new games wall. Yeah, which you guys had to talk me into at first.
Right. Well, it was a sacrifice, but it was sort of with actually the intent of helping the game.
Oh yeah.
Because we were running out of room for new games, to be honest
So
with you.
we used it to gain more space for games, and we kind of one of the changes we made was we now have just tags that say new games that are throughout that section, and it's not some sneaky thing to make people, now you have to browse all the games to do it.
No.
But there's not a ton of stuff to browse, so we didn't think it was a huge chore.
What we mostly thought was, and this was sort of what convinced me, was that a lot of we have some customers who would dedicatedly go to the new games, but I felt like a lot of those people, they knew what the new games were and they were just looking to see if we had them.
Right.
But we had a lot of people who would go and not realize that stuff was in, so they'd go the Star Wars section and not find the new Star Wars book because they weren't looking at the new games. And then we decided that basically, we didn't have so much stuff that we couldn't put some tags on it and tell people where stuff was.
Yeah.
And
I think so far it's working out, though.
it has. I just feel like, so that's the only pushback we've had really is on that. And I wanted to explain that the reason we did it is because We added a whole nother facing for the board games.
I thought you actually said it was out of spite for our customers.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
You remember your exact words were, "I'll show them."
But yeah, no, we expanded Pathfinder, we expanded Munchkin, we gave board games another facing and a whole nother rack.
The comics and graphic novel section got some room to breathe.
Yep.
Most of them
Each company got like double the space that they.
Yeah.
It's been
easily.
nice.
Yeah.
It's been nice. There's like, if you go to the graphic novel section for Marvel, DC, or the indie section, or Vertigo, you'll find just lots more stuff faced out. So it's like, I don't know, I think it looks nicer. You get to see all the cool covers. And for us, like, sales-wise, I think it makes things sell better
It's
when
more
people...
browsable.
When
everything
you can
is.
sort of spot more cool stuff.
Yeah. They also, was it Dave's I do the Wall of Comics?
The Wall of Comics.
The Wall of Comics
The
on...
whole wall.
I don't know.
Basically, we moved the back issue wall from one side of the store to the other, and as a
My main
result,
contribution was, let's kill the new game wall, honestly.
the big thing now is when it goes new games, then jumping on points, then story arcs, and then right into the back issues. It's a wall of new comics.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, like, I guess when we were planning this store originally, this was probably this was at a time when we were Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
we were sort of their Round Rock store.
Yeah.
And so we had some say in building it, but I think some of it was also from the store owner Dragon's Lair.
Yep.
And we've been sort of coasting on that design, which when I think about it, is a little weird. You know, it was a little weird. It's like, the new comics wall are on one side, and then the rest of the comics are on sort of on the flip side.
We had to make some compromises, as I recall, and it was not to our original plan.
No, and even in our even in the new one, we had to make a few compromises.
Sure.
But I just feel like the layout makes more sense now.
Yeah.
And as many people have noted, it kind of opens up the store.
It definitely feels more open.
And now there's signs that, over each area.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think, Dave, that was your biggest contribution.
Probably
was the
so.
signs.
Well, for years I've been wanting to kind of bolster our signs. I know a lot of our longtime customers sort of, they learn where things are and they really know them quite well. But new customers, it can be kind of just, they're just kind of like bowled away by all the colors and lights and sounds.
Shiny objects everywhere.
Yep. And, and I think sometimes even the longtime people didn't know where, quite what the planning was in something. So
Yeah.
now we've got signs up that kind of let you know the departments.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just that everything is more grouped together. Like, games, a lot of times on the new wall, it's like a new expansion to some game. And you're right, like, the people that come to see it are like, oh, well, this is just the expansion. Where's the base game? And then it leads to 10 other questions.
Right.
Yeah.
And
now
I think
just
it's the
all
same
in
way
one.
with the graphic novels and things, too. It's like, oh, well, I see this one volume that's spaced out, 3
Where's
shelves
the rest
over
of it?
from the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And I know we try not to do that, but sometimes it was just the way that things had to go.
Because
And
of spacing, right?
now everything is faced out with everything else right next to it. And I think that just makes things way more shoppable.
Yeah.
Because you can see, oh, well, this is where it starts. This is how far it goes. Maybe...
Yep.
Even with the back issues, I've noticed a lot of people realizing that this means that's all there is. Whatever is there is what we have, and if we don't have it,
We don't have
they
it.
have the ability to kind of see it for themselves instead of always
Right.
having to come ask us. I feel like it's nicer for new people. I had a new guy come in Saturday night, I guess, and he had no idea what the difference in a single issue was to anything else.
with a
and
graphic novel
he
and
could
stuff.
even tell that, how the wall kind of worked and
It's
that
more
this was the
instinctive.
older stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
that-
got a more natural flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a natural
I
flow.
just speaking of the back issue wall, that reminded me of one of the things that we did that I think we all decided was probably a good idea, but there might have been a little wavering. Which is, for instance, there's a Marvel's back issues, DC's back issues, and kind of everything else, which is broadly labeled our indie section. Where we used to have, like, say, Dark Horse had its own section, Image had its own section, and they're alphabetical within that, but we realized, I think, that it's just simpler and easier to find if it's basically a kind of a
That's also
big
how our
alphabetical.
graphic novels are already done anyways.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they're broken into those 3 groups. So
Right, I
figured
guess, yeah, it was
single
weird
issues
otherwise.
was just kind of should do the same.
Yeah.
But by and large, that means that if you ask one of us to help you find a book, we're going to pretty much know whether it's Marvel, DC, or something else. And if it's something else, all you got to do is go alphabetically now.
So, guys, biggest nightmare of this whole thing, was it putting together the counter? Was that the hardest part?
I didn't actually work on that.
I hate the counter.
Because it turned out great, but there were the screws had to be like just so.
I came over when y'all were stuck on it, and there was swearing.
Yes, so there was definitely swearing.
I gave up on it, and I helped take down a door and replace a door, and I did that in like 5 minutes, and I was like, well, dang, now I have to go back and do this counter that I want to strangle myself.
Yeah, that was a couple last-minute additions we did. Going back, when we first started playing this, we did a straight-up D&D style. I got the graph paper, we measured everything. We had
By and large, it worked.
It did, more or less. We moved a couple things around.
Every once in a while, we're like, oh, wasn't on paper, it looked like more space than we thought, or less space, or whatever, and so we tweak it.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought we were going to run out at some point. Like, oh, this doesn't work. We have nowhere near this much space, and mostly we found that we had more space than we thought we did.
Yeah,
Randy, setting up the computer and the cables and stuff might have been one of the bigger headaches.
That was Chelsea's biggest nightmare.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was some cursing there too.
Yeah.
I think. By the way, as long as we're mentioning the remodel, I should also compliment Nick, who retiled our entire bathroom.
Yeah, I was going to say,
looking new tiles.
Yeah,
because
was
honestly,
Jarek as well.
That's right. Jarek helped out, and that was the tiling in the bathroom floor is one of those where it was easy to get dirty, and unfortunately there were set stains on there that even with hardcore bleach over the years we've never been able to get out.
Yep.
So it was like we could never keep it from looking dirty even when it was clean.
Yeah.
And it was nice to now we actually have things that look fancy and they're clean.
Yeah, that was the last. There were 2 last-minute additions after the planning. One was the bathroom, which was a great addition and totally worth the work, I think. Mm-hmm. And the other was we lost our chew door. Our specific for the Chew event, because unfortunately, while we love that door, it looked a little dingy. I mean, by design.
Right.
It also doesn't close.
And it didn't close. And now we have an office door that closes, and it's nice looking.
Yeah. So when we need to go and hide in the back, we can hide.
Yes. But yeah, we hope you all are enjoying the new look. If you haven't had a chance to come down, please come down and take a look at the new store. We're very proud of it, and it took us a lot of time. So if you didn't like it, just hush up.
I do think it's kind of funny is like over the last 2 weeks, it's as people come in and discover it, they stop like they've hit an actual invisible wall as they walk in. They're like, "Whoa!"
Oh,
and it's kind of just funny.
Did we put up the invisible brick wall? We put up the invisible brick wall.
Well, and there is an invisible
brick wall.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, I guess that part isn't just funny. People are being injured on the invisible brick wall.
I don't know. It's kind of fun.
It's funny for us.
Well, now that you all have suffered through our store talk, we're going to talk about a movie that we all recently saw that you probably all should see. And that is Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Well, based on box office numbers, I think the majority of people have seen it.
Yes,
I haven't been keeping up, so it's doing really well.
It's doing very well. So we're going to have some spoilers in this section. I'm going to put time codes on this episode so you can skip over this section if you haven't seen it yet. We're not going to spoil everything, but I think we're going to have a pretty free discussion about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: I think I inadvertently on Facebook through like an article or an infographic I linked to just a few hours before I went to see the movie. Somebody, one of my friends was like, "Whoa!" So there were spoilers in that, and I hadn't looked at it closely. And I believe the spoilers pertain to the identity of the Winter Soldier.
That is not a spoiler.
Which I thought that was like knowing that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin.
Yes,
and I was like, okay, that's not a spoiler, even if they kind of in the movie make it a little suspenseful.
Well, yeah, in the movie it's a reveal because for the characters it's a thing. But Chelsea, you knew that going in, right?
Yeah, I mean, even though I wouldn't say that I am anywhere near the level of comics that y'all know, just by sheer knowledge, I totally knew kind of that whole notion.
Yeah.
Even to the extent of kind of what was going to take place, not the whole backstory of the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing,
right.
Generally that he was going to come back and kind of wreak havoc and cause problems for Cap, even though I hadn't really read.
The movie did make it kind of a big thing, though.
Yeah.
So I guess I took that article down, and I'm kind of glad I did because I think probably anybody who's on my Facebook probably knows.
Yeah.
But it's they okay. So do we all like this movie?
But to be clear, yes, we all love this movie.
I
right?
loved it.
Yeah,
I actually loved it too. And
I've seen it twice already.
I am probably the person who is the most sort of casual on the Marvel movies in this group. Maybe Chelsea is more. I don't know, but where I have liked all of them, but I don't think I really own any of them.
Yeah,
except
you're not to the level where Randy and I, who have watched Avengers religiously, probably about 20 times.
Oh, I've watched Avengers over and over and over again.
To date,
that's Sophie's favorite movie. Do you know that? We've watched it on Amazon Prime all the time.
For our audience at home, Sophie is.
Oh, Sophie's my 5-year-old little sister. She's always like, "Can we watch this one?" I'm like, "Of course." I love the Avengers.
She wants to see the one where Loki
Avengers.
says the word "Quim."
That's
dirty.
Avengers.
That's dirty.
Whereas I have still seen Avengers only once.
It's crazy.
I've seen it less than anybody in this room.
revisit it.
Yeah. I started to watch it before Cap, and after that boring 10-minute opening with Loki escaping on a Jeep, I was just like, oh man. I know it gets
really
better.
tired.
Tom Hiddleston, he's
He was
beautiful.
really tired.
I do like Tom Hiddleston. He was awesome in Thor 2. He's very boring in the opening to the Avengers.
The opening, here's the thing. Much as I love the Avengers, and I've come around to liking the opening too,
Project Pegasus
but
is in it.
when I was sitting there, I was sitting there watching it with my friend. My friend Martin was there. It was a screening when I saw it the first time. And we were talking about it afterwards. We're saying, yeah, we were watching it. And those first 10 minutes with the Jeep chase and the Project Pegasus and all that, we're like, oh, man, this isn't going to be a disappointment, is it? And basically, as soon as they got off that and started gathering the team.
Right, big comeback.
Yeah. And then when the helicarrier takes off, boom, I was in.
Can I just say that by contrast, I was with Captain America Winter Soldier right from the beginning.
Well, Winter Soldier has that great opening. It's got that Falcon bit.
Yeah,
I loved the Falcon bit.
Anthony Mackie is a great, which turns out to be perfect casting.
He was fantastic.
Whoever that is, because I don't know who that, I don't know him from anything. He was awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
I know him from something.
He's been in stuff, but I mean, they did a great retrofit of his origins, where instead of being a social worker in the slums, which is what he was in the comics, he is a military guy, but he was a pararescue guy.
Yep.
And he deals with sort of guys with PTSD, so he's sort of a counselor. So it's very much the modern equivalent.
It's a logical evolution.
And
what I think was great is how they tied that into his ability to get know, the wings, because if he had no kind of tie-in with the military anymore, there would have been no way for him to kind of come out as the Falcon. I don't think they would have been able to do it.
I don't want to say too much about the specifics of that, but yes, they making the wings sort of a military tie-in was a cool idea.
That was a great idea. There's a great line.
Did he invent them
in the comics? I think he got them from Red Skull.
Oh, did he really?
Well, he originally got stuff from Red Skull. But, but that might have been a claw, because originally he didn't have wings. He had a claw that he slung around.
He's actually been in a lot of movies. He was in Runner. He was in Pain and Gain. He was in
nothing I've seen.
Adjustment Bureau.
Not that anybody's surprised, but I haven't seen
Hurt Locker.
Okay, I've seen Hurt Locker.
Yeah, he's actually
was he Jeremy Renner in the Hurt Locker?
Yes, it was Jeremy Renner.
Okay.
So, a lot of times with these movies, I think, Marvel's been really clever about making them available both, very appealing both to longtime fans, but definitely more importantly, to newcomers.
Yeah.
And but you do need to win people over quick, and the opening sequence with Falconen, or Sam Wilson, he's just Sam at that point, instantly won me over.
Yeah, it's fun and it's charming, and you like both characters.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great opener. And then we got to talk about.
It becomes a badass 70s suspense movie, but with 80s action movie.
More modern sensibilities. Well,
yeah.
You said it's who's the guy from Fast and the Furious?
It's the second unit director. I forget his name, but he handles all sort of the car chases and things that have appeared in this movie.
And you can definitely tell, because I was thinking watching this, the practical effects and the car chases, especially Nick Fury's attempted assassination.
Yep.
Are amazing. Yeah. There's so many good cars. There's a couple really good car chases.
It's this kind of combination of intense action, and the music is very upbeat and in tempo with it, and it's just sort of all of things working together. And Samuel Jackson gets to be a badass.
Yeah.
Well, I
love the window, the car's talking to him, and he's like. They're talking about, the percentage of the structural integrity.
He's basically got one of those Shield high-tech cars, and, we won't talk about too much of the specifics, but again, it has both some humor in that scene, and it's very suspenseful.
Yeah.
I think this is, I've been seeing this being called as, one of the most serious Marvel movies.
Yeah,
and to an extent, it is a serious movie.
But there's still jokes.
But still there's humor. I mean, much of the interaction between Black Widow and Cap is joking.
Scarlett Johansson.
Although there's also some very serious. I mean, they're at the core of some of the most serious stuff.
Sure, but it's her trying to set him up with random women.
Yeah,
I loved that whole.
And it was this ongoing gag, and it's a really great gag that works. Yeah. But there, like you said, there are some very human moments.
I think Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. She was good in Iron Man 2, but a lot of people don't like Iron Man 2. And a lot of people don't like Scarlett Johansson as a result of that, but you look at what she did in Avengers, and she was great as Black Widow. And here, I think
I've actually always liked her in the movies, but I think she had a chance to shine here.
I have too, but I think people don't. I think people have not always liked her. I mean, we're sort of a minority there.
Is that right? I guess I didn't know that.
I think that
I just didn't like Iron Man 2 as a movie.
I think people will see that she was perfect for it, because as each movie she's gotten better. Like she was. I thought she was fine in Iron Man 2, but if you didn't like her there, you have to admit that she was pretty good in Avengers.
Yeah.
And even if you don't like her in
does a
Avengers, she's great
fantastic
here.
job here.
Yeah.
I think my thing about the Marvel movies is I'm not comic book fan number one. I don't read a lot of Marvel books, and I haven't. So for me, it's always fun to go in and not necessarily know the story. You know, you guys oftentimes don't love a movie 100% because it varies from this or that in the comics, or it does something that's kind of unrealistic based on an origin here or there. And what's fun for me is that even for this movie, it was very realistic. It wasn't Cap being ridiculous superhero. It was Cap being super strong guy, which is what he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be this, out of...
It's a sort of more down-to-earth superhero movie.
Oh, totally so.
And yet, here's the thing.
Everything felt real.
I thought that said, the action has a level of intensity that I haven't seen in any of their movies. I mean, it is my favorite action sequences of the Marvel movies, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
The comparison I've made once or twice is I thought it felt a little bit more like an intense Michael Mann action sequence, like more comparable to, say, the shootout in Heat.
Yeah.
Or if you've seen sort of early John Woo movies before he fell in love with slow motion, when he did a lot of stuff that was in real time, he was less flashy about it, but his action sequences in like The Killer or Hard Boiled are super crazy intense, and that's what these were like. They're just like they didn't do a lot of slow mo. I noticed.
Right.
They're just
actually, I think
they just kind of explode.
One or two cases of
for the most part,
movie.
it's real time.
It's real time. The choreography with the hand-to-hand action on the ship in the very very beginning with the villain there, and then later on with the Winter Soldier is just flat out amazing.
Yeah, it's a great action movie. Really good character stuff. There's some nice payoffs to stuff from Avengers and from Cap 1.
I think to the directors, the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
They've
If
done.
I'm not mistaken, they're kind of an odd call for this, though, right?
They've done like a lot of television work.
Yeah, they've done a lot of television. They did
Community or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So they like have some geek love. I'm sure.
But they were perfect for this, and like I say, having the guy from Fast and the Furious helped a lot because those car chases. But I also should be said, there's plenty of Easter eggs. You can find them online. They're also Chelsea and I watched astonished and bewildered as people left the theater as the credits are rolling.
Right, because we figure at this point
you have to know.
Oh, the screening I went to today,
like a dozen
90% of them theater left.
What's wrong with you? There are
Here's
post-credit
the thing.
sequences.
Some of those people don't care.
Those people are wrong.
I agree.
But people coming on opening night,
Yeah.
I don't feel like those people are people that don't care. Like, if you're investing that much time, I understand, a couple days later, it's still probably your first time seeing the movie.
You didn't care, yeah.
You're like, oh, well, I went to see, Cap 2 just because.
So just for the record, there are two of them.
Yes.
Yes. The final one is just kind of a light character beat moment, and it's not... I guess I'd say it's one of their lesser Easter eggs.
Sure.
It could have just been dropped in the movie.
I've heard equated to the shawarma of Avengers.
Although I think it's going to have more plot relevance than shawarma.
I agree, and that's where I think they're wrong. I think there is relevant.
But the mid-credits teaser...
I guess it's sort of just something I assumed was going to happen, whether they showed it in that scene or not.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
What I liked about that one, though, is even not Marvel fan number one, who doesn't know, origins of everyone and things like that, I even still knew... what was going on in that last scene. I mean, I had to ask a question, but I still kind of got the gist of what was going on with that, even from not really following the...
And the mid-credit sequences...
It's very important to Avengers.
Very important to the upcoming Avengers. Sort of like what they... And the mid-credit sequence of Thor 2...
is to Guardians.
Yes, it's to Guardians.
So that's our take on... We won't go too much into spoilers or anything, but that's our take on Winter Soldier. We all liked it.
I would also like to say that my favorite scene in it was that attempted assassination on Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, yeah.
Amazing action sequence. I did not expect Nick Fury to get what I think is the coolest bit in it, which is to knock any of the other scenes remotely, because like Cap, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Falcon, everybody gets to shine in this. Like, I mean, I've never seen these characters more badass really than this.
Yeah, every character, even the bad guys.
But Fury got to steal it.
Yep. So now we're going to talk about something that we all did over the course of March. This is another thing that kept us busy and kept us from podcasting. The movie challenge.
Right. This
Dave.
was something that I was kind of a ringleader on, and I will say I stole the idea from Brian Bendis' message board, where it was just a tradition that some of the fans there had started, and It's a movie challenge with the sort of ostensible goal of, among friends, in the 31 days of March, we would try and watch 31 movies.
Yes.
And now that's, we sort of knew right from the get-go, not everybody would be able to do that, but the idea was to push yourself to do as many as you can. If it was 5, cool. If it was 15 or 20, all the better.
And you threw this out to friends, but also to friends of friends, and as a result, we had how many participants in this thing?
30 plus. It was like 32, 33 people. It was a lot more people than I expected. I thought I'd have like 5 or 6 people doing this with me. And then
two people finished 31 movies.
Right. Bo and
Aaron.
And yes, my buddy Aaron, who I used to review with. Yep. And the other hook to it is that to try to push people out of their comfort zones a little bit is the 31 had to be chosen from sort of with some parameters.
Yeah.
So there would be like 5 movies had to be black and white. 5 movies had to be from
1970s.
The 1970s. 5 that were Best Picture winners for the Academy Awards. What else do we have?
Let's see.
5 from the same director.
From the same director.
And then
5 from the
6
2000s.
from the 2000s.
6 from the 2000s.
That's
and
it, right?
5 comedies.
And 5
5
comedies, yeah.
Yep. And those were just kind of arbitrarily chosen by me. They could have been anything. It could have been 5 animated movies or, 5 movies with the same soundtrack by the same guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it worked out pretty well. I had I've done it before, and I knew it pushed me to see some stuff I hadn't seen, and that I was happy to have seen. Guys,
It pushed Chelsea to watch movies.
Shush.
I think in the end of it, I probably watched like 12 of them.
Okay, that's pretty solid though.
I got to 21 or 20. I think I got to 20.
Good. I was like at 17, I think, and Chelsea watched some, and that's the important thing.
Chelsea did watch movies. I think
Yes.
I got
5?
5 or 6.
Yeah, that's pretty good
I
for
would say,
you.
which is good for me because my schedule is so crazy all the time, and I actually got to make time for some movies. I think my hardest part was I should have gone a little bit more the Netflix route.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of picked movies off things that sounded really awesome instead of picking movies that I had access to.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a bit harder for me, but
I ran into
did
some.
get to
I
watch some
think we all
movies.
ran into some of those same problems.
And now I understand references a little bit better.
Well, one of the big things I did was we had several people had Godfather on their list, so we did a big.
This was cool.
We had my friend Kelly volunteered to cook for us, so she cooked this big Italian meal with
Oh my God.
arancini and minestrone soup. And this is all made from scratch, and lasagna and
what was
almond
the
dark
biscotti?
almond chocolate biscotti.
Oh my
No,
God.
dark chocolate orange biscotti.
Uh-huh.
And
So sad I missed
What were those
this.
little?
what were
What was
the-
those little balls?
those are arancini.
Arancini.
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
risotto.
So
it's like
good.
fried risotto. They were so good. And what was the other dessert she made? Oh, tiramisu.
Right,
Homemade tiramisu. And
Ray and
Dear
Kathleen
Lord.
brought wine.
Yes.
And oh man, we just had everything.
we had a great time, and we ate all that. We watched Godfather, which Godfather's a really long movie.
Yes, it is.
But there's a lot of eating in it, and
Yes.
so it was nice to be actually full for
Super
once.
full,
Scenes
yes.
with delicious Italian food.
So what was everyone's favorite sort of discovery out of this batch, Nick?
Oh, put me on the spot. I watched a lot of revisits that Kaylee hadn't seen, my fiance.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and by the way, the general encouragement was to try and catch movies you hadn't seen, but that was by no means a rule, and so you could catch movies you hadn't seen.
Mine was about half and half to sort of give you a comfort food movie.
And by contrast, mine was almost entirely new to
Yeah.
me. So, Nick, what was...
Should we come to you last?
yeah, come
okay.
on, let me think
Dave?
about it for a second.
All right, I also have not thought about this ahead of time, but I can throw out a few. I saw a movie called The Artist from the mid-2000s.
Yeah, who was the director on that? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It's an art house kind of movie. I almost
Yeah.
want to say it was like an Argentinian director or
Okay,
something like that.
yeah.
I believe this. I believe both stars were. I feel like from Argentina or something.
Okay.
But anyway, it's irrelevant though, kind of because it's set in it's a black and white and silent movie, and that's why it kind of was buzzworthy at the time. And it's a crowd pleaser movie. It's about a guy who's like think sort of William Shatner of the silent films.
Yeah.
He's very full of himself, but also really kind of maybe more likable than Shatner is. More like in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, okay.
But like people love him. He's kind of full of himself, but in a likable way. But when the silent movies transition to talking movies, he's kind of left in a lurch. And there's also a love story there. The girl who kind of is a little infatuated with him, ironically, ends up becoming more successful in the talkie era. There is some limited, aside from music, there's some limited use of sound in it to represent the kind of transition. But it's super charming. It's funny. It's sweet. I couldn't recommend it more highly. And it looks beautiful. It actually looks like an old silent movie, but some of those modern touches to it keep it from being an actual silent movie.
Okay.
That was one of my from the 2000s one.
Okay.
I also like Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters. He was one of my my directors.
Yep.
I can't remember what else I saw. There were a few other big ones. And All About Eve, another classic movie. But those were probably my big three, I would say. And I was very happy I pushed myself to see them, because I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. I probably would have watched another action movie that I've seen before.
Chelsea, do you have a favorite of the stuff you watched? I bet I know your least favorite, because it's the same one as one of mine.
What?
We got together and watched The Wolverine.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was all right. I didn't love it, and I think it's another one of those things where I
You
don't
went into
know
it with no expectations.
Right. Well, that, and whereas I know the Wolverine's general backstory, I don't know every single miniseries he's ever been in, so I didn't really
You've not
know
read the source
story.
material. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't great for me. It was just a lot of things. Just like I talked about earlier, I like the realness of superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
I like when they kind of give you that, like, they're just people aspect.
So
but they've
Wolverine
got
fighting
powers.
a giant robot samurai might have seemed a little much.
Yeah, and crazy snake lady.
Yeah.
I was not all about that.
There were some weird choices made, because I've read all these source material, and it's like, it's there. Like, the whole thing with Wolverine and Rogue being solo in Japan, like, the vibe is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yukio is in there. I mean, there's all this stuff from the comics, but in a very different, weird way.
I talked to a customer earlier today, and we're talking about how in the upcoming Avengers movie, they're apparently going to have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and those characters are also going to appear in the X-Men thing, I think.
Yes, but they're different characters.
Where it'll be different, though, because those are separate movie licenses. There's X-Men over at, Fox, is it?
Yep.
It is.
And, Marvel has all the other Avengers and stuff like that. And he was, the customer was lamenting, he's like, oh, why didn't they just make a deal and share the movie verse with them? And I think it's because Marvel rightly realizes they have much better movies.
Yeah.
They are not going to kind of cheese it up. They're not going to drop the ball at this point. And you can't really trust Fox not to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe the new X-Men movie is going to be cool, but it's less likely to than, say, the next Avengers.
I will still say I enjoyed the first 3/4 of Wolverine.
Really? It's not my thing. I
liked it all right.
I didn't think it was, great.
The funeral sequence where Harada, somehow, for some reason, a ninja, is shooting arrows, that was kind of cool.
But the whole notion that she, I'm just modern security makes that not the thing that would happen.
It didn't make any sense,
Oh, right.
None of that, I mean, he dies, and then it's but you can just go wherever, there's nobody really watching you. Oh, they took you? Oh, darn. It was just common sense tells you, especially with their culture and the way that they are, with women in general, because the whole problem was that she was going to be the one inheriting all this money.
Yeah.
And that's why she was such a target. And I'm like, so you're just letting her walk through this, she gets away, and it's she's still just walking through the train station.
It has sort of basic film problems separate from anything that connected it to the comics.
It's got solid action. I'll give it that.
So
that was my disappointing. But do you know, was there one you really liked of the stuff that you watched? Because you watched a handful.
I am very, very disappointed to say I hadn't seen Chicago before the movie Child.
Oh yeah,
because I am such a musical fanatic. I love all things musical all the time.
And Chicago is one of the great modern musicals.
Oh my God, Chicago was amazing. I loved it. Yeah. And I knew that I was going to. I knew going in, putting Chicago on my list. I love musicals. West Side Story was also on my list. I've seen West Side Story a few times. It was just kind of a revisit.
Yep.
But I love them. But Chicago kind of far above, more than exceeded all of my expectations for it.
Chicago is, I think, one of those musicals that people who think they don't like musicals should see. And if you do like musicals, obviously you should see it. But it's so kind of sly, it's sexy, and it's cynical and smart-ass, and
I watched that one as well, and I think we were just kind of talking about it on Facebook, and all of us were throwing out scenes from the different songs.
Posting the best musical numbers and stuff.
It's great. It's got that same vibe you get from, say, a good Disney musical. It's every piece is really good, except much darker and more sex than a Disney musical.
Yes.
More murder and sex.
Typically the whole plot is a little bit not Disney musical, but that was probably my favorite. I would say other movies that I saw that I probably wouldn't have seen I'm trying to think of one that I saw that I wouldn't have seen without the movie challenge. Probably,
Dead Air. Randy?
Yeah.
What about yourself? Your favorite?
My favorite, and this is where I lose all credibility, was of all the things I watched, and I watched 20 movies, including classics like Double Indemnity and Godfather 2 for the first time.
Yep.
Of all the stuff I watched, my favorite thing was We're the Millers. A modern, goofy
You are
comedy.
correct. This is where you lose credibility.
It's Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston and a couple of younger actors who they go on the road in an RV. He's a drug dealer. She's a stripper. They get this deal where he's going to get some money by picking up some drugs in Mexico and driving them back in an RV by posing as a family.
Yeah.
And that's the pitch. It was funny in the same way sort of The Hangover, where it's stupid, but it's just a well-executed, fun comedy.
You're probably in the right mood to watch it.
I was in the right mood.
Also, the goal of the movie challenge is not to like, I mean, it doesn't really... You're kind of supposed to go outside your comfort zone, but you're also just supposed to discover new movies. It doesn't really matter what you like. And that's one of the things I was happiest about, is a lot of people seem to be just having a good time. We started a Facebook group for it, right? Yeah. That's when we said there were 30 members. And what happened is people would watch a movie and then they'd post about it that day, right afterwards or the next day or whatever, and say what they thought of it. And then people would chime in or say, "You're dead to me," or whatever. And
I did a lot of that by saying a few things.
You watched Hugo, didn't you?
I did. I actually watched a lot of kid movies along those lines. And Hugo and Frozen both really, really surprised me.
Yeah.
Especially Hugo. I honestly think I like that movie more than any of his...
It's a Scorsese movie.
It's a Scorsese, and I like it better than The Godfather.
I knew you would love it.
That's actually... that's not
Francis Ford
Scorsese.
Coppola.
No, that's not...
You like it better than Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. You're dead to me.
I'll say this. Although there was some "you're dead to me's," I was happy to see that people did not really get too into that. There were no big fights. No. People were just having fun watching movies.
And even when I told Jarek he was dead to me, I was kidding. Except that I did kill Jarek.
Yes, sure. Chelsea, did you come up with any movie? It's okay.
There's some movie that Jarek watched that I didn't read the review until after I watched it.
All right,
and I can't remember what movie it is now.
All right. But at any rate, if you have not done this, get together with your friends, watch some movie challenges.
I suggest the groups of 5, is a good way to do it. And challenge yourself some month to do it. Even if you only watch a few extras, it'll still be fun. I think we liked it enough that we'll probably do it again in another 6 months or so. And come up with new categories.
Yep. Well, we were gone for a few weeks, but we came back with a big old jumbo-sized podcast. So chime in on Facebook and let us know what you thought, and we will be back next week with more. And until next time,
Yo Joe!